Tonight on News 5 Live, a woman police constable clings to life after being shot in Dangriga on Wednesday night. Details of the near-fatal shooting remain sketchy, and police are seeking one suspect. The Public Service Union takes aim at the Briceño administration for failing to appoint a new chair of the Public Service Commission. And an update on the flooding situation along Belize's river system. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen Broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen Broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
If you are ailing due to a chronic disease and are left permanently invalid before retirement age, you may want to check if you qualify to receive invalidity benefit. The invalidity benefit exists for persons who are unable to continue working due to permanent illness. To qualify, you must be under 60 years old, must be sick for 26 consecutive weeks and certified to be medically unable to perform any type of work, must have at least 5 years of paid SSB contributions and at least 5 paid within the 3 months leading up to your illness. If you do not qualify for the invalidity pension, you may be eligible for the invalidity grant. Want to know more about invalidity benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
It's spooky season, and I've got the scoop for you. If you are on the hunt for a new Samsung device, then look forward to some scarily big savings on the full A-Series and S-Series lineup, with phones starting at a scarily low price of just $349 and Galaxy Tabs for only $439. Plus, all devices are protected with a 1-year local warranty. The awesome Galaxy lineup includes the A03 Core, A03, A13, A22, A23, A33, A52s, A53, S20 FE, S21 FE, S22, S22 Plus, S22 Ultra, and the newly released Galaxy Fold 4 and Galaxy Flip 4 phones. Only at any Samsung authorized resellers, including Cellular World, Dibari, Digi, and Westra. And grab yourself a spooky deal on your next upgrade with Samsung's Spooky Savings Promotion.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, The George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Corozal starting August 24th, Orinduap August 31st, Belize City September 7th, Punta Gorda September 14th, Key Cocker September 22nd, Belmopan September 28th, San Ignacio and San Heleno on October 5th, Dangriga October 12th, Placencia October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at bbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benque, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, October 13th. I am Sabrina Daly. A police constable is hanging on to life after she and a man were shot in Dangriga last evening. PC Lorraine Arzu and 44-year-old Leonel Roland were sitting in a truck on Bishop Martin Street sometime around 6 p.m. when they became a gunman's target. Both victims have been transferred to the KHMH for treatment. And as Arzu fights for her life, Roland's injuries are nothing short of miraculous. News 5 was reliably informed that he was shot 3 times, and while one of the bullets entered through his shoulder and exited through his face, Roland is awake and talking. News 5's Marian Ali went to Dangriga, and here's that story.
22-year-old police constable Lorraine Arzu lies critically wounded with unstable vitals in a KHMH after she was shot twice in the head. Arzu and Leonel Roland were sitting in this Ford pickup truck that was parked on the side of the street in front of her apartment on Bishop Martin Street. Anthony Quillen, a tenant in another section of the complex, told us he had just arrived home when the incident unfolded.
I noticed a vehicle outside the gate adjacent to us, because there are 3 big gates there, 1 long fence. The lights were blue, so I know it wasn't a police vehicle. The headlights were blue. I drove in my yard. I got out to close my gate, and while closing my gate, I heard the shots.
Before that, Quillen said he heard no exchange of words, but Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told reporters today that there might indeed have been some type of communication between the gunman and Roland.
She got into the vehicle. Apparently she and the other victim came to the vehicle. The suspect was standing nearby, and before they got into the vehicle, the male victim and the suspect had an exchange of words. Having that exchange of words, Ms. Arzu got into the vehicle, and when the exchange of words was done, the driver got in. And when he got in, that's when the suspect opened gunshot at the driver door of the vehicle. So it just so happens that some of the bullet passed him and went and caught Mr. Arzu. Mr. Roland is disputing having any altercation with the suspect, but we do have a credible witness who told us that.
Police are currently seeking a suspect who they say may not have even known that Arzu is a police officer. Arzu underwent brain surgery on Wednesday night, a procedure that has been described as a success. Williams said that the police department wanted to transfer her to a private hospital, but that doctors at the KHMH have advised against it because of the fragility of her condition.
We would have wanted to take her to Medical Associates for the simple fact that it's a private institution, and we believe that she'll be able to get more attention there. At KHMH here, the ICU is packed, the doctors are busy, there are too many patients for them to look after. We believe that if she goes to Medical Associates, she'll get better treatment there. Nonetheless, having spoken to the doctor, they're advising that due to the fact that she's on life support, removing her from the life support to transport her to Medical Associates may put her more at risk than anything else.
Williams said the department would meet with Dr. Pedro Arriaga, who is Arzu's principal internist, to get his opinion on the matter. Today, investigators returned to the scene in their quest to gather more details of the incident. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
We heard Commissioner of Police Chester Williams share that the police department would consult with Dr. Pedro Arriaga on whether it would be possible to transport PC Lorraine Arzu to the Belize Medical Associates, where she'd receive better round-the-clock care. Williams said that a doctor at the KHMH who performed a brain surgery on the young officer advised against moving her because it would be risky. But internist at the Belize Medical Associates, Dr. Fernando Cuellar, revealed on Open Your Eyes today that Arzu had to be taken to the Medical Associates last night for a CT scan because the KHMH still has none. Cuellar implored the government and anyone who would help to see to it that the public health sector has a CT scan for the sake of people who cannot afford to pay for the service at private hospitals. Aside from that reality, Cuellar said that it is also risky for patients at the KHMH who can afford to pay for it and must be transferred to another private hospital to get the exam done.
We get one CAT scan for the country, I believe, please. Public sector.
A CAT scan for the public sector.
It costs $1.5 million. Okay? No, I know it's about Carl Houston, and the part about the Ministry of Health don't have one bloody CAT scan. It's disgraceful. And they call out everybody from the two sides. The one where they head butt for one side, and the other one where the plans about the place. Okay? We need the Prime Minister, we need the Minister of Health, we need the CEOs, we don't have one situation. One lady get shot in the head yesterday, one police officer. My boy, and they have to move on. Where they move on to? Medical Associates. I should have shut my mouth because we make money off of that. But it's endangering care. It's lessening the level of care, and I have to say that. And I sure the board chairmans want come, and the CEO want come, and the minister want got one nicely story for tell you. But the truth of the matter is, today, 13th October 2022, we don't have one CAT scan in the country, I believe, for the public sector, which about 80% of people can't afford it out of pocket. And it's so, I got broken in tears last night. I said, and they bring this lady.
Gunshots rang out in Kettle village in the early hours of Thursday when someone discharged a firearm not far from where a police officer was waiting to be picked up by his colleagues. It is not clear whether the officer was the intended target of the shooting, but what is known is that he returned fire and set chase after the suspect. That individual subsequently escaped in a waiting vehicle. Fortunately, no one was injured. Earlier today, News 5 spoke with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams.
I know this morning, sometime around 3, a police officer reported that he was waiting for a transport to pick him up. And while doing so, he heard the sound of gunshots being fired. When he turned around, his colleague came, and both of them saw the person flee in the area. They fired shots at the person, but the person was able to get into a vehicle and went about his business. The vehicle that the person got into was not properly identified by the officers, neither was the person, and so at this time it is difficult for us to know exactly who is involved.
And do you know who was the intended target in that case?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the shots were fired at the police or in the ear, but the police officer did say he heard the shots fired, and when he looked, he saw a person, and they pursued the person.
The deadly accident that claimed the life of 21-year-old Jorge Vargas near Ranchito village on Tuesday remains an open investigation, as the police department continues to gather information on what transpired that resulted in the fatal RTA on the Philip Gosen Highway. The head-on collision between a taxi van and an ambulance also injured several other persons who were treated for varying degrees of injuries. According to Constable Williams, a file is being put together that will be forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
The file for that matter is being compiled and will be sent to the Director of Public Prosecution.
Are there any witnesses?
Certainly there are people in the vehicle who survived. They are witnesses that the police will rely upon as a part of the investigation.
Do you find that it's difficult though in this investigation because, well, while the report said the ambulance was trying to overtake, at the same time we know that vehicles are supposed to move out of the way for the ambulance?
And certainly that's one of the issues we have in Belize. Only in Belize certain things happen. We know already that once you hear the ambulance, the police or the fire siren, that it means you must clear the way for an emergency. And certain drivers just have no regards to that and would want to race with the ambulance or the police or the fire truck, which is wrong. Nonetheless, we cannot see at this time what the cause is, so we'll just await the investigation to be completed, and then we'll be guided by the Director of Public Prosecution from there.
On Wednesday night, we showed you an interview with a relative of Aliyah Marokin, the 20-year-old Corazon student who was involved in a tragic road traffic accident on Tuesday evening. In that interview, the relative informed us that Marokin was rushed from the Northern Regional Hospital and then to the KHMH in a critical condition. The family was reportedly under the impression that the accident victim was in need of a life-saving surgery and that the operation would be carried out in Belize City. However, according to the family member, when the sixth form student arrived at the KHMH, she was bandaged, given morphine, and informed that she would be placed on a waiting list. Fearing that her condition would worsen, that relative came to us seeking answers. Well, we reached out to the CEO at the KHMH, Chandra Cancino, who told us via text message, quote, "No treatment protocol was breached and the patient and her father were fully engaged in the discussion with the physician," unquote. Coming up, MIDH restores Kyle Creek Road following flood damages.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Hi, I am Dr. Elsie Constanza. I'm a pediatrician and neonatologist. I work at the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at Carl Huschner Memorial Hospital Authority and at Northern Medical Specialty Plaza. Like other vaccines, few persons may present with reactions. Vaccines are safe. Get protected. Get vaccinated.
The Grid Expansion Program is a BL-funded program which provides power supply to rural communities and urban areas across the country. Many communities have been impacted by this program over the years, such as Laguna and Jordanville in Toledo District, Crooked Tree and Northside Kikaka in Belize District, and Viva Esperanza in Corozal District.
11 years ago when this village was started, they had a little generator and it worked, but the power cost like $3 a kilowatt. They had 10 hours a day of power. And now with this BEL power, there's no more limitation to anything. As my business, I can have my welder weld, I can have the grinders work. Now it's so much better. Okay, and another thing from this 11 years of this community here, it seemed as if this community didn't really grow, but now that we have this power from BEL, it is like if some people open their eyes. We keep having questions. Is there property available? Can we move in? The power is a key for the progress here. Very thankful for the help from BEL.
Are you eligible for Amnesty 2022? This is your opportunity to apply. When you log on to www.immigration.gov.bz, you will find a full list of required documents needed for the amnesty criteria you are eligible for. Be sure to gather all general and supporting documents needed, including all necessary translations. Then make your appointment online with any of our registration centers countrywide. There, you will submit your documents and complete the required interviews. Thereafter, an acceptance receipt will be provided. While you wait for a decision on your application, track its progress online and know when to make payment at your nearest government treasury office. Once completed, you will receive your permanent residence card, showing your legal status within Belize. Find out more about the Amnesty 2022 and how to apply online at www.immigration.gov.bz. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Biodegradable plastics. When talking about plastic, don't you always hear people say that this plastic or that plastic is biodegradable, eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, green, or even ecological? Well, the truth is that these words and many others like them are often used to give the impression that the product is better for the environment. When shopping, the terms to look for are bio-based, compostable, or environmentally degradable plastics because they are tested against specific standards to ensure that they are broken down with minimal impacts to the environment. But what does biodegradable really mean? To put it simply, it is the breakdown of something into water, carbon dioxide, and biomass by the action of living organisms, usually bacteria or fungus. However, people call some plastics biodegradable, but they never fully break down because they still contain plastics made from petroleum or inorganic material. The plastics just break down into tinier pieces called microplastics, which then enter the food cycle through the ingestion by animals that people eat. Don't be fooled, check your labels. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Tonight, there is still no appointee to the post of chairman of the Public Service Commission. That's because the Prime Minister's pick for presiding officer of that working group has withdrawn his name due to illness. Crescencio Sosa Sr. is the second person to have his name removed from the likely candidates to fill the post. The effect of the delay, however, is being felt most by retired public officers who cannot collect their gratuities and pensions due to the vacant office. The Public Service Union issued a statement on Wednesday criticizing the Briceño administration for failure to fill the post. Earlier today, News 5 spoke with PSU President Dean Flowers about the issue at hand.
It is frustrating for the Public Service Union of Belize, as well as public officers in general, and now this is extending to our retirees, in that we are yet to receive an acceptable excuse from the government. Why is it that a suitable Belizean candidate has not been identified to take up this post? Following the blowback and the disapproval of Mr. Cal, Mr. Sosa was identified. And Mr. Sosa, at least from our perspective, enjoyed our support to be appointed. Unfortunately, after his appointment was confirmed, I understand, by the Governor General, there is concern with his health, and so he has expressed his desire not to serve as the chairman. This brings us back, of course, to square one, where now it is frustrating for us because all indications so far is that the government are not in search of somebody with integrity and high moral standing, but are more so in search of somebody who is politically aligned with the government and somebody who will take instructions from the government rather than be guided by the constitution and the regulations which governs how this commission is established and how it ought to function. And therein lies the problem, and that is our gripe with the government.
According to Flowers, the protracted delay continues to threaten the financial stability of families whose breadwinners were public officers who gave up themselves and their service to the government of Belize for over 30 years.
Now, the impact of this politicization of the commission has now reached a boiling point whereby it is negatively affecting not only public officers, but more so, as we stated in our release, retirees. It is unacceptable that an individual will labor in excess of 15 to 30 years for the government of Belize and for the people of Belize, and thereafter have to wait for a year or 2 years and to continue waiting because the government has not seen it as a priority to ensure the continuation of the services rendered by the Commission. The Public Service Union and myself individually continue to receive calls as we speak from public officers, retired public officers, who are in a state of desperation. There are people out there who are on the brink of losing their homes and other assets that are serving as collateral for loans or mortgages that they might have with the banks and lending institutions. There's also the issue of people's livelihood being threatened where their utility bills are concerned. I think it is important for us to look at this entire process of how we compensate retirees their superannuity benefits to ensure that no retiree has to wait for a year or 2 years because of the incompetence of the line ministries who fail in coordination with the public officer to ensure that their file is in order by the time it reaches the Treasury Department. And also, of course, we cannot forget the main issue here, which is we must ensure that the Commission functions at all times.
Floodwaters flowing from the Mopan River are moving downstream faster than what has been recorded in previous flooding, according to the National Hydrological Service. Principal hydrologist Tennille Hendy says that as recent as Wednesday, the hydrological station in Benque del Carmen recorded floodwaters moving at very high velocities from neighboring Guatemala into Belize. According to Hendy, the large magnitude of flood waters moving along Belize's river system is leading to widespread flooding. Here is how she explained it when we spoke with her over the phone.
What is happening is that the flow is very high at the headwaters, and by headwaters I'm speaking about in Benque, the Benque side. Visiting that area yesterday, we saw very high velocities starting way up by the Guatemala border. As far as we could have seen, a very high velocity, very turbulent, and we're seeing that being extended throughout the river system. In connection with our observers on these river systems, because we have physical persons who monitor the rivers for us and take our measurements, report to the office that as far as Isabella Bank coming down into Bermudan Landing, Scotland Half Moon, we're seeing some floodwaters already reaching those areas. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit quicker than what we normally see for this system when we have such flood event. The magnitude of this flood, and I'm speaking in regards to the flow, it's such high flow that it's causing what we call oxbows. So the flood waters are not taking the path of the river. It's creating its own path because, or an additional path, because the channel has already been filled and it cannot take any more water, and it's already filled, spread out as far as it can. And so it's creating a temporary branch, if you want to say, of the river.
Since Sunday, there have been waves of floodwaters moving through Belize's river system. This explains why the floodwaters in the Mopan and Belize rivers receded temporarily before rising once again. Principal hydrologist Tennille Hendy also addressed the concerns of residents living in the Belize River Valley in light of the devastation caused by Hurricanes Iota and Eta.
What we've seen, Paul, is that we had 2 waves within the span of 2 days. I believe it was on Sunday that we saw, Monday, that we saw the Benque Viejo station at Sokot exceed the levels of Mitch. It receded, and by the next day, it was already up back at those same levels, exceeding Mitch levels. So we're seeing more than one flood wave coming down, and most of this is related to the transboundary aspect of flooding. Some floodwaters will reach that community. To say specifically that you're going to get a number of feet in your area, that is not possible because there's a lot of landscape throughout the riverine system. To put it in perspective, we don't expect it to be as bad as with Eta and Iota. I think that's resident in a lot of the public's mind.
Yes.
That when we had Eta and Iota, it was so horrible. Are we expecting the same thing? From what we're seeing, we don't expect it to be that bad, but it is still at a level that we need to be concerned and to remain vigilant.
Kala Creek Village residents can now move freely to and from their community after Ministry of Infrastructure Development personnel went in to repair a damaged culvert. The village was cut off from the rest of the country for the past 3 days after floodwaters destroyed the culvert. We heard from the district technical supervisor at MIDH about the emergency repairs.
The areas on this section of the district, especially the Kala Creek area, we are on the road Bully Tree to Kala Creek right now. This is an area that the flood washed out the culvert, the existing culvert on this area. So we are working on this here at the moment, trying to set back the culverts. As you could see, we had a smaller one before, and we are putting a double culvert, the 5-foot culverts. That would help for the future, for the flood, so that they won't have this problem again. Part of the village from Kala Creek, what is connected from the rest of the country, I would say, for at least 3 days. We worked here yesterday late evening to try to bring back the road so that people could pass, but from yesterday around 9 in the evening, it was already open for people to move around.
After the break, new equipment for the police department. We'll tell you about an upcoming donation of 100 body cams for use by police officers.
So here we have 2 households, 2 kids doing what kids do, and 2 loads of stained covered laundry. One uses regular detergent, but only Fab has tough stain lifting power.
Wait, really? That's right. To get rid of all types of stains, use Fab. Adding Fab laundry detergent to the wash not only fights the toughest stains, but the colors won't fade. And Fab leaves clothes smelling fantastic. So pass it on.
Because your family deserves the best in laundry care. Fab, taking care of your laundry so you can take care of your family. Find it at your nearest store. Exclusively distributed by Big Limited.
or elderly needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Over 200 tourism service providers are participating in the first annual Elevate Training Expo being hosted by the Belize Tourism Board in Belize City. The Expo is providing tourism workers with over 20 different trainings hosted by lecturers from the Florida International University and some of our very own experts. According to BTB, the Elevate Training Expo is assisting the industry in bridging a training gap brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
The inaugural Elevate Training Expo has brought tourism workers from across the sector for 2 days of learning how to improve their services and the overall visitor's experience. Tour guides, those who work in the accommodation, attraction managers and restaurateurs are among the many playing key roles in sustaining Belize's tourism brand. We spoke with Abel Castaneda, the Director of Quality Management at the Belize Tourism Board.
Today we're starting a 2-day event. It's an expo that allows industry stakeholders, whether you're working in the industry or looking to work in the industry or interested in learning a little bit of the different aspects of what the industry offers. For instance, we are providing over 20 different training courses over the next 2 days. So today we're very happy and excited that we have, for instance, training on sommelier, which is wine mastery services. So we have people from the food and bev industry coming, from restaurants, hotels, learning how to become wine masters, sommeliers.
At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a significant migration of workers from the tourism industry into other sectors due to the collapse of global tourism. But as the industry rebounded, new hires came on board. We also heard from Nicole Solano, the CEO in the Ministry of Tourism.
COVID changed everything, right? COVID, the industry was shut down for 2 years, so a lot of people left the tourism industry and went into other industries like the BPO sector. So the tourism industry was left with a gap really in human resources. And even the people who stayed, they themselves need refresher courses to be able to see what the new innovative ways of doing things. They have to be able to train to update themselves and update their skills.
The Belize Tourism Board has increased its training budget from $20,000 to close to $1 million since the Brisenia administration took office, according to Castaneda.
Training is always a very important part of product development, and when the current administration came in, that's one of the main impetus, one of the main things that they wanted to ensure that we are promoting and building upon. We have done some substantial investments. We have put I think the training budget before was around $20,000. So we are spending almost close to about $1 million in different training initiatives.
Recently, Condé Nast, known for iconic brands like Vogue, GQ, and the Vanity Fair, asked its readers to vote for countries they consider to be home to the friendliest people in their 2022 Reader's Choice Awards. Belize was voted in the top 10.
Belize has long been known as a destination where people love to interact with our people, right? Being a friendly country is not something new. It's something that we've known through our motivation surveys, that guests really do find Belizeans friendly, to be friendly, right? But one of the things that, and bringing it back to the training, competency and warmth and hospitality combined is really what gives us that edge compared to other destinations.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The Belize Police Department is yet to deploy body cameras for officers in the field, despite a donation of 100 devices by the Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. Those cameras will be used to record arrests, as well as evidence for crime scenes. According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, cameras are also going to be installed along the John Smith Road in the weeks ahead.
We have received 100 body cams through the Ministry of Tourism, and I want to thank the Honorable Anthony Mala for that donation. And we're hoping to have the handing over ceremony very shortly, and I will leave the rest for the handing over ceremony.
Okay, and what about cameras on the John Smith Road?
We are in the process of doing the installation. We have done the site visits to identify the areas where we'll put the cameras, and so hopefully by the end of this week or next week, Champion Security will be installing the cameras.
How many cameras are we talking about?
We're looking at 3 PTZs and 2 license plate readers.
When we return, we head west where cleanup is almost complete for an oil spill in Benque. And we stopped in on the first ever Belize Climate Change Week.
Belizeans deserve a fast, dependable, high-quality internet service in their homes for online, virtual classes, and to work from home. It's the new way of life. Diginet is the #1 fiber service that is powering Belize's digital transformation. And now, this reliable fiber service is even more affordable with our new entry plan. For a limited time only, you and your family can enjoy 20 megabits per second of fiber service to your home for only $49 monthly. No more missed classes and interrupted meetings. It's costing you time and money. Diginet is better than cable and better than wireless. Visit a Digistore today to sign up for the best home internet service in Belize. Come see what you've been missing. Same high quality, fast, and reliable fiber service, now at an even lower price. For more information, visit livedigi.com/Diginet. Digi, our national telecom.
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
The first ever Climate Change Week is currently underway at the San Ignacio Hotel. It began on Tuesday and is being hosted by the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management through the National Climate Change Office in collaboration with the National Biodiversity Office. The theme is Enhancing Belize's Position in Global Climate Action. News 5's Dwayne Moody stopped in today and files this report.
Inclusivity was the overarching theme coming out of the first ever Belize Climate Change Week, as the 4-day event engaged public and private sector stakeholders and saw representation from youth and indigenous peoples.
What we wanted to do was to create a space where we do a couple of things. One, where we start to engage stakeholders, indigenous people, young people, technical officers within the government, CEOs, high-level officers, and decision makers, politicians really, to talk about climate change, the impacts of climate change, how we mainstream climate change. We also wanted to build the capacities of some of these key sectors. We talk about climate, everybody is impacted by climate change. But when we go out and do negotiations, let's say, and when we put out Belize's national position in climate change, does it really encompass everybody's perspective? And so this week was really to create a space to do that.
The Belize Climate Change Week is described as being crucial in the government of Belize's commitment to responding to climate change and engaging all relevant stakeholders in propelling climate action on a national and global level.
In COP27 coming up in the UNCBD, the UN Convention on Biological Diversity, their COP coming up in December, we know we'll have a better position, a more informed position by our young people, by indigenous people, by our technical officers, so that it's a stronger position in terms of Belize's position when we go out there.
Political leaders, policymakers, indigenous people, youth, women and children must become aware of the impacts of climate change as it is being experienced this present day and commit to joining forces to tackle these impacts. Environment and climate change expert Una Mae Gordon from Jamaica has been leading the sessions and says that events like these help to advise leadership and the respective roles in battling this issue at all levels of society.
People like us who advise government, who advise ministers, it is for us also to give them the information so they can connect. And so this is part of I had a slide on, I think it was on Tuesday, about connecting the dots. How do we assist the leadership? I don't expect the minister to be talking climate language all the time, but I expect that when he takes this information, when we connect the dots for him, he can make a sound decision to cabinet that this is what is required for the Cayo district because of the impacts of climate change. That's how we connect the dots, and I think we are getting some traction there.
The Belize Climate Change Week is financed by the UNDP Climate Promise Project from Pledge to Impact. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
For the past 2 days, youth have been engaged in a mock conference of parties. The young leaders assumed roles as party delegates attached to negotiating blocs, each of them representing different countries. They carried out climate change negotiations and were able to experience the scale and intensity of the COP. While the goal was to have the youth engaged in the climate change discourse on the national and international stage, the mock session culminated with the drafting of a formal youth declaration, which was presented to and signed by CEO Dr. Kenrick Williams at today's session for senior officials. Ryan O of the Northern Maya Association of Belize acted as president of the mock COP50.
The process of drafting the declaration has been based on our knowledge that we gained from the day and a half from the mock COP. So it's basically us doing like the crash course and then doing the follow-up. But that's why we were willing to ask for more time, an expanded time frame for us to modify and then perfect the language of the declaration.
What are some of the issues that you guys have included in the declaration?
For the youths, we're basically asking for more inclusion, not only for the youths, but also for different other perspectives. Indigenous persons, they also classify as inclusion. Different persons that have an effect or contribute to climate change. That's a lot of pressure to handle because I do not have to face only for the youths, but also for the specific needs of the indigenous persons. So you have to bear in mind the youths and then the indigenous youths, which can also be a different category with a lot of needs.
Our biggest feathers in our cap is that we have a lot of young people as part of our negotiating team. So we have people like Mr. Idalme Grijalva from the Forest Department, Mr. Sumit Betancourt, members from the National Climate Change Office who form part of our negotiating teams, who are young people. And so we also wanted to build their capacities in the art and process of negotiation. You know that one of the things is that a single word or a single number can really affect the positioning, right? And that's the debating skills and the negotiation skills is critical.
Coming up, there's more news after the break when we come back.
Everything must come to an end. A much-needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Today, News 5's Dwayne Moody headed west to Benque del Carmen, where a bus company and the Department of Environment have been tackling an oil spill at the entrance of the town. The incident has brought into sharp focus the environmental impacts associated with these types of occurrences, but also issues of improper storage of hazardous materials. Here's a report.
About 90% of an oil spill at the entrance of Benque del Carmen has been cleaned up since it was first detected on Tuesday evening. It is believed that over 100 gallons of waste oil, colloquially known as burn oil, leaked out of a metal tank on West Line Bus Company's compound in the town and found its way through the drainage and towards the Mopan River.
When I did find out, the Ministry of Environment was already there working side by side with my crew, ensuring that the oil did not get to the river. So we jumped on it immediately as soon as we found out. The explanation I basically got from the mechanic is that the valve was already corroded. It was old, and he did not realize it until, and possibly the seepage the spill could have started from Saturday or Sunday, but because of the bad weather, nobody was around, and when he did manage to see it, the oil had leaked out already.
Do you know how much was in that tank at the time?
He is estimating anywhere between 100 and 150 gallons were stored at that moment. We don't know the exact amount. We know the tank holds a maximum of 1,000 gallons, but it was fairly empty for all purposes for us, so it could have been up to 150 gallons. He don't think it could be more than that.
The Department of the Environment has been out here since yesterday and this morning working with the company. First, you notice that they set up the containment booms so that everything is trapped, or as best as possible we can trap any residual, any flow. And from there we use the containment, the absorption pads to sort of suck up those oil in there. Between yesterday and today, we've indicated by the department, they've been able to address about 90% of it. You can still see residuals, and you can never clean it up 100%, and that is the issue with these type of infractions.
The owner of the bus company, Sergio Chuk, says that the waste oil is stored in a 1,000-gallon tank when oil changes are done on the buses. Residents and small entrepreneurs would usually purchase the burn oil from them. The spill made its way downhill for about 200 yards from the company property. An initial inspection has been done, and the hope at this time is that the oil did not make its way to the Mopan River.
What we found thus far is that from the spill, from the site of storage, it spilled just to about the entrance of the Mopan River. We've not been able to determine if any of the oil, did make it into the Mopan River. We are presuming that so far it has not, because at the time there was a backwash, there was a backflow coming from the floods, and that may have helped to contain it, but we can never be sure at this time. There may be residuals or residues that will show up
as the water recedes. As you notice, we've been trying to look at where we can see sign of spillage or residues from this spillage, because that is going to be critical for cleanup, that is going to be critical for impacts, and certainly that is going to be critical for the penalties that we lay as it relates to this impact.
CEO Dr. Kenrick Williams says that there are concerns regarding the hazards of the oil spill. Residents recreate in the area and are fearful of the harmful impact to the environment resulting from negligence in the proper storage of the waste oil.
Whenever there's this spillage or leakage, you can never clean it up 100%, and so the implications of those are significant for animal health, for biodiversity, and most importantly for human health, particularly in this area. From my assessment of it, and from the initial assessment by the department, it's essentially due to negligence of storage, the storage container, improper storage container, and not monitoring appropriately this container as prescribed by the Environmental Protection Act. And so we have to look at that. Next steps will be, again, we've been looking at the law and the extent of the infraction. Certainly, because this is pure significant negligence, really, we have pressed that we look at the extent of which these people, this company is charged and held accountable.
Chuck says that the bus company will ensure that an incident like this does not reoccur.
The tank is still there. The tank will be repaired. Those are expensive tanks. But this shouldn't have happened, and we have to put measures in place that it does not happen again. And right now, as we speak, I think you had visited the area, and I'm not sure if at this moment the contractor, the mason, is there, but we will put the tank in a fully containment area, so if there's ever any spill again, it won't leak into the soil.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
This morning, All Saints School in Belize City received a generous contribution of over $10,000 from a benefactor who was once a student at the primary school. The donation of digital equipment and financial assistance for deserving students is part of an initiative to modernize and improve the existing courses being offered. News 5's Isani Kayatano reports.
Giving back as a means of creating opportunities for young learners to progress is an important part of building and strengthening society. For Anwar Barrow, a past student of All Saints School, assisting with scholarships and other resources ensures that the best academic experience is afforded to the children enrolled at his alma mater.
I've been supporting All Saints for a while now. I went to school there. I have a lot of fond memories and experiences. And also my family, particularly on my mother's side, has had long involvement with the school and the church. And so I see it fitting, given where we are as a society, to give back, and that is one of the places that I really try to support.
This morning, a donation of electronic equipment as well as scholarships was handed over to the school. Colin Estrada is the principal. He has been working closely with Barrow to digitalize several programs being offered at All Saints.
This has been one donation in a series of many, okay? We're doing the digitization of All Saints, and so with that we got 4 projectors from him, and then we also got some scholarships from him, okay? So to date, apart from the Ministry of Education, he's one of the biggest donors for All Saints.
What does this mean to the school, to have someone who has gone through these classrooms, established himself in the Belizean society, and is now looking back in terms of being able to contribute to his alma mater?
Well, like what I said, it is in serving the nation and serving our people, because he's one of us, right? And the students can be able to relate that how he was already one of us, and he's now looking back, giving back to the community that he was once he's a part of.
The idea for the donation came a few weeks ago when Principal Estrada reached out to Barrow with a plan to improve teaching and learning at the school.
He approached me a few weeks ago about wanting to put, I think it's 11 or 14 projectors throughout the school so that the kids can have better access to electronic content. And so I said that, I was more than willing to help, donated 4 of them, and then also it's back to school time, funded 15 scholarships for deserving students, which I have been doing over the years, and I know a lot of other people try to do and help out.
Today's gift signifies a considerable leap forward for All Saints School. The pandemic illustrated to the administration that students do indeed learn through various means, including digital technology.
What it means is that technologically we're moving forward as an institution. During COVID, we learned that how there are various types of learners, and the students, they were on the devices. So it is not just throwing away what we have learned from through COVID, but also enhancing it to be able to meet the demand of our student population, so that at the end of the day, education becomes more fun-filled for the student and for teachers.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.